Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to be doing something a little different.
Oh.
Yeah. We're going to be taking a deep dive into a collection of short stories.
Short stories?
Yeah. Called Nammathuk Kathaikal.
Okay.
You ever heard of that?
I have, actually. I have.
Okay.
I heard of it.
All right. So maybe some of our listeners haven't, though.
Yeah.
It's a really fascinating collection that offers a really unique glimpse into Tamil Brahmin culture.
Right. And it's interesting because it's an anthology, right? It's
Yeah.
compiled by Sundaraman Chintamani.
Yes.
And features over 30 authors from
Right.
Chennai. And they all share stories that reflect what we call the Brahminical ethos.
Okay. Now, when you say Brahminical ethos, what exactly does that mean for someone who might not be familiar with that term?
So essentially, it's the values, traditions, and lifestyle of the Tamil Brahmin community in India.
Gotcha.
And, when you think about it, it's a strong emphasis on things like education and family and religious rituals. And these stories in this collection, they really bring those elements to life.
So they don't just talk about it, they actually show you.
They show you exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Can you maybe give us an example of one of the stories that you think really highlights those values?
Absolutely. There's this one story that I really like. It's called The Music Lesson.
Okay.
And it's about this young boy who is struggling to learn Carnatic music.
Oh, wow.
Which is a traditional South Indian style, right?
Yeah, okay.
And his grandfather, he's a respected musician, and of course he's disappointed, right? That his grandson is struggling. But he eventually comes to realize that pushing the boy too hard is actually counterproductive.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a beautiful way of showcasing the importance of tradition. But at the same time, it highlights the evolving dynamics within families.
That's so true. So it sounds like even though these stories are rooted in a very specific culture, they actually have universal themes that everyone can kind of connect with.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Because like you were saying, the music lesson is really about generational differences and, just finding your own path. That's something that many of us can relate to, regardless of our background.
Absolutely.
And there are other stories in the collection that deal with love and loss.
Oh, wow.
And even challenges of adapting to a changing world, right?
Right.
It's you don't have to be a Tamil Brahmin to appreciate those very human experiences.
Exactly. And what's interesting, too, is that there are so many different authors. Like you said, over 30.
Exactly.
So that must create a really diverse range of perspectives, right?
Absolutely. It's not just one voice or one experience. We have stories about women.
Oh, cool.
Navigating societal expectations. There are humorous tales of everyday life in a bustling city. And there are even stories that touch on the complexities of caste and social hierarchy.
Oh, wow. That's a lot to unpack.
It is. It's a tapestry of voices, each with a unique perspective.
That's so cool. So it sounds like Sundaraman Chintamani, the guy who compiled all this,
Yes.
he played a pretty key role
Definitely.
in bringing all this together.
Yeah.
What do you think his motivation was? Why do you think he did this?
Well, it's fascinating to me that he clearly saw the value in preserving these stories, not just for the Tamil Brahmin community, but for a wider audience. He understood that sharing these personal narratives could actually help people connect with a culture that they might not otherwise experience.
Yeah, you wouldn't just stumble upon this, I feel like.
Exactly.
So to kind of put it all together,
Yes.
Nammathuk Kathaikal offers this incredible window into a specific culture.
Right.
And also explores universal human experiences. And it kind of reminds us that even though we all come from these different backgrounds, we share a lot of common ground just through the power of storytelling.
Absolutely. And, it raises an important question. Does reading stories from a different culture make you more curious about that culture?
Oh, interesting.
Or does it make you feel more connected to your own?
Oh, that's a good question.
It is. It's something to think about as you explore, different genres and authors.
Yeah, that's food for thought. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive
Of course. It was my pleasure.
into the world of Nammathuk Kathaikal. And for our listeners, I encourage you to check out the collection.
Yes.
If you haven't already.
You won't regret it.
Yeah, you might find yourself relating to these stories even more than you expect. All right, until next time.